All right, super professional overlay moment here, guys. So I forgot to size up the IEM logo. We'll just put this bad boy right here so everyone knows what it is we're casting. Turn that down just a smidge too to be ultra safe. There we go. All right, so welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters. This is San Jose. Sadly, neither myself nor Kane are at San Jose, but giving you a cast all the way up here from the great white north of Canada. This is one of the last matches we played out for day 2, I believe. Spawning here in the bottom right corner. It's going to be the blue Terran player, Bomber. Oh, and I got to fix health bars. 1 sec. Sorry, I made the mistake of actually playing this game. Who does that, right? Okay, that's fixed up. You want to intro the other guy?
Yeah. In the top left, we have the Protoss player on CJ Antis. It is CJ herO.
Again, not to be confused with Liquid herO, guys, although we do love them both. CJ Antis herO has had a really good run this year with... just in general, it's really hard to say this because he's not exactly winning WCS left and right. Pop, pop, pop. No dream hacks under his belt quite recently. But every time you see herO play, whether it's online or offline, what I do like is he's very consistent.
Yeah, like when we saw him in Pro League and stuff, he was always one of their go-to players, you know? Like, you could always depend on him to win an important match or an important series.
Yeah, but at the same time too, we got Bomber, right? Like it's not even like a contest to say like one guy's more consistent than the other or anything quite like this. But through Red Bull and everything in 2014, Bomber's just had a hell of a year. I expect him to do well here in IEM, and I mean, again, like he's got to be a little bit favorite coming against her. Just like, even though he's not quite Pulse, it feels like America's almost his home turf with the way Red Bull's treated him.
Yeah, and he has so much experience playing in these foreign tournaments too. Not like herO doesn't have nearly as much, so just like logistically, I would say Bomber has the advantage going in. But herO, I don't know, I would say like 50-50 if it wasn't for that.
This is a really nice move out of Bomber, going for the Engineering Bay block. This is important for multiple different reasons, but I'd say the biggest one is, of course, because he went for a CC first. What this Engineering Bay is going to do is act like a magnet, a damage magnet. You know, the Zealot's going to go on there, the Mothership Course is not going to fly over it. herO has to spend time cleaning this up. So this kind of gives Bomber the time to crank out the Marines he needs at home to make sure that a Zealot, a Stalker, and a Mothership Core don't go from a poke to a game-ending move.
Bomber did lose that SCV, so a bit of a mistake there, but yeah, Bomber's playing really greedy, like the CC first into an Engineering Bay block. He's not afraid of anything right now.
I don't blame him. This is kind of like what I expect out of Bomber, though. You give him a couple of Marines that follow up to this. I mean, with some decent control in a bunker especially, he shouldn't really take too much damage from anything that herO throws at him. I mean, the Zealot's going to go across the map, but the second it sees more than one Marine, I mean, what is it going to do, right?
Yeah, and Bomber's one of those guys who always plays so greedy, but he knows how to be safe versus almost everything. It's always kind of risky to all-in him, because he knows he's been in that situation so many times. He's just used to dealing with small pressures like this.
I like the third Rax fill up too. It did go gasless without command center opening, so on the back of every Terran player's mind, regardless of this opener, you're thinking like, all right, I got to make sure this game doesn't get ended by Oracles. I need the Marine production, 6 total, to cover my mineral lines. But it's actually not going to be a Stargate at all. herO has just slapped down a Twilight Council.
What do you think this is for? Do you think this is going to be a blink attack or fast DTs?
If if hero's confident in his control, I gotta say blank like 9 times out of 10. It leads to the late game anyways. It complements your Colossus later on. DTs are such a risky move, I feel, versus somebody like Bomber. If hero's willing to take that gambit in game 1, I would be really shocked. But we'll see here in just a sec.
And herO, it is blink. Yeah, herO is kind of known for his blink play. I know also in Protoss versus Zerg, he always relies on really good control of his Stalkers and just solid blink play. So yeah, I'm not too surprised to see that.
Well, I mean, as well, if we're gonna be honest, like after watching Home Story Cup finals, if you're Protoss versus Terran, if you can like replicate what parting does, I mean, you're gonna have a good time when it comes down to control. So this might not be like an all-in blink build, but still, that's what I always think about. It's like, man, if you've got the control, you can do just about anything in this game.
Yeah, blink is a really cool ability. It kind of lets you depend on your control and just kind of outplay your opponent.
Yo, I like as a Zerg player coming into this, like you could say that without bias, but me, I'm like, yeah, blink's a really cool ability. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so Bomber does have his production back up to where it needs to be. As I said before, he's got the Marines to cover his mineral lines, even an engineering bay for turrets if necessary. Again, like every Terran player in the back of their mind, this is like always the checkbox. You have to make sure that you don't die to oracles. Of course, it's not oracles, and Bomber hasn't scouted this. That kind of sucks, but again, the way he's playing right now, he's kind of preparing against everything. Oh, is it blink? Is it not? You know, oh, he's actually this zealot at the rocks flagged up a big red flag. 2 bunkers come down immediately.
Yeah, but those won't be too useful, because he is coming from the front here. We see the forward pylon.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be a good fallback point, I guess, because when you, at some point, if this front bunker gets broken, and usually one bunker will, you're going to either have to abandon the natural or have a better place to fight, because naked Marines just don't have a good time.
But this isn't even an all-in from herO. Like, there's only 4 gates, so he's just plopping down a robo behind this, and he'll transition. He's getting his 3rd and 4th gas right now.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of pressure. And the thing is, like, this could become an all-in if he sees enough damage off the first attack here. Nice snipe on that Marauder. Sadly, that Marauder wasn't in the bunker.
One Stalker did go down there, like a little bit of miscontrol, but he did get 2 Stalkers kind of get their health off a little bit, so that's okay.
Yeah, the shield scores will generate here pretty quickly out of combat, but you know, the SCVs are pre-pulled. The biggest weakness, I'd say, is if Bomber gets caught off guard in his marine, but hero's going to try and get that bunker. I will
he does get it.
it.
Yeah, Bomber's not taking this lightly at all. He's really reacting to this really well.
You know, he's just got to bide his time here, too. Like, don't overextend. You got Stim Pack coming out in, like, less than 30 seconds. I mean, that's really what you need to shut this down. And herO knowing this, too. Like, there's certain timings you got to look out for. And for him, I mean, maybe he decides to invest a little more into this. But as you point out, there is a robo behind it. There is possible transition towards Colossus. But right now, this fight's going really well for herO as he starts this off. A lot of the Marines choke within this time warp. Bomber can't quite get enough SCVs to the front line to soak that damage.
Look at all those Stalkers in red health. Really good control from herO.
I mean, yeah, look at the resources lost. I mean, he's still only lost the 1 Stalker so far. Just click it like one at a time, picking them up, dropping in the back. There's a Widowmine here in case a blink to the main happens. But, you know, Medivacs are going to be the real nice solution to this. Stim's done, but Stim's no good if you can't heal up that damage. So right now it's been a lot of... ooh, nice snipe. Almost got the Mothership Core first. It's been a lot of back and forth, but once Bomber's got about 2 Medivacs out, he can probably actually push through this. But keep in mind, guys, he's lost quite a few SCVs defending so far.
Yeah, just looking at the resources lost, it's like almost 3k for Terran and only 1k for Protoss. This is going really well for herO. We might just see Bomber kind of fall apart here, but he has quite a few Marauders right now, which obviously do really well versus Stalkers, and those Medivacs are starting to come out.
That's where it's going to get really sticky, though. We do have a War Prism set up in the back, a 3rd base on the way for herO. You know, he may not be chrono boosting out 2 upgrades at a time, but man, he's doing quite well here in the early game. Bomber is in a bit of trouble. There's not enough Marauders to really just outright win this.
This is really impressive from herO. Like, this wasn't even an all-in. This is just meant to do a little bit of damage, but we might see Bomber almost just die to this. Looking at the supplies, herO is 50 supply up, or 40 right now.
He's trying to certainly kill a couple of the Stalkers. I don't know if there's a snowball enough, though. Again, the Marauders are not high enough in number, and the follow-up to this is what's so scary. Again, like, okay, right now Bomber's great against these Stalkers. Eventually the Stalkers won't quite win the game. But it's the Colossus going to be behind it. You know, while he's producing these Medivacs, he's not getting out Vikings. While he's not getting out Vikings, he's not prepared for the Colossus follow-up. So this could fall apart for him if he gets stuck on bio for too long.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't see a 3rd CC started right now for Bomber, and herO's is done already. herO's next.
And I just realized, too, with his income being hurt so badly here, you can't actually throw down that 2nd starport. At least the factory definitely can't throw down that 2nd starport, so we're not going to see that 4 Viking at a time production that usually gets Terran players back from being behind in the Viking count.
And now we have Colossus out for herO as well. He's looking really solid in this game. Like, what do you think Bomber has to do to come back into this?
He's got to get some God mode drops off. His back door's exposed, though. There's a warp prism waiting nearby. He might not know about this just yet, but I feel like as soon as he moves out of the base, like, herO's just going to strike. This is a really scary situation for Bomber to be in, because you just can't turtle off this. You're behind an entire base of your opponents. They've got the ability to chrono out those upgrades that he's delayed for so long. I mean, again, 1-1 hasn't really, it's only just begun with armor upgrades, but, you know, if herO can just sit back and freely do whatever he wants, he'll take the lead in a big way.
So, do you think herO should just defend? Like, since Bomber does have to do those drops to get back in the game, do you think it's better for herO to defend right now, or do you think he can take advantage of maybe Bomber has a couple Medivacs out on the map, he needs to go hit a timing or something like that?
It's so hard to say because a lot of it's going to come down to reactions, right? Like if you move out and see this Warp Prism, for example, come to the main, and all of a sudden you can't go drop anymore or do anything, right? So this is really unfortunate because you cannot ignore 4 Zealots. This is a lot of damage. I think he's warping some more as well. A couple of Vikings might clear up the Warp Prism, but in the process, he has to defend his natural.
Ooh, hero's kind of all over the place right now. He's attacking everywhere. Even though Bomber's only on 2 base, he's still managing to find openings.
Oh, some of that Warp Prism didn't die. That's really going to suck because the threat remains. But this fight in the Naturals, you have to be careful. Stalkers are so weak against Marauders, but still, 13 SCVs died in the main while that was going on. Vikings had to land to start attacking the Zealots. I mean, he hasn't even revealed the Colossus yet. And there's going to be Storm! Kane!
Bomber's like super far behind right now. He's just going to get blind. Like, he knows that there's Colossus out because he's making Vikings, but there's going to be Storm, there's going to be Charge. Yeah, Bomber's in a really tough spot right now. He needs to do something. He can't just sit back like this and kind of hope that herO messes up. He needs to go out on the map and, like you said, drop or do something fancy to get back in this game.
It's not about fancy, it's about necessity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The thing, too, is, I mean, there are Terran players. Bomber's definitely one. Happy from Europe comes to mind for another. Like, there are players who can get away with fighting against Templar and never having ghosts, and that's okay. So it's not like Bomber's like getting auto-countered here, but the longer this game goes on, like his tech's going to keep falling behind, his supply's just going to struggle. He's pulling SCVs from the backside. He's very awkwardly pulled the boy. Because to hero's knowledge, he's pulling the boys with 4 Marauders, but he's the real army.
There's Storm, there's Colossus, there's Photon Overcharges. I don't see this ending incredibly well for Bomber.
But this is kind of his only move. Like, it's a Hail Mary pass that he has to make, because without he doesn't stand a chance in the game. Down in supply in a big way. His army value's actually not that lacking. The only problem is there's a lot of area of effect damage to the Protoss army. Storm's coming down on top of the bio. SCV's stuck within that time warp. They can't soak anything. He might clear out the Colossus, but is it going to matter at the end of the day if the bio dies to Zealots?
That's it. We see the GG, yeah.
All right, so herO, man, game number 1.
Oof, oof. That was kind of a stomping, to be honest with you. Like, I'm just surprised that...
All right, welcome back, guys. Game number 2 for the IEM San Jose. I guess I was going to say qualifiers because it just rolls off my tongue. I've been saying qualifiers for the last month after all. But this is actually IEM San Jose, guys. So, spawning here in the top left corner of the map, if you can believe it, he's down 1 in this series. I give you the blue Terran player, Bomber. Kane.
And in the 6:30 position, no, wait, 6 o'clock position.
Well, how would 6:30 work? Like, you spawn here, but your pylon's over here on the right side or something? Like,
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Well, technically it would be 6:30. We have the red Protoss on CJ Entis. We have herO.
What I hate is you're actually correct. This actually is more accurate to say 6:30 than 6 o'clock position.
Yeah, it's true.
Because the big hand, yeah, you'd have to be pointing.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Okay, well,
suck it, Rifkin.
Welcome to Base Trade TV's House of Clocks. Now you all know. All right, silliness aside, guys. Bomber, you know, he's a good player. We could hail him all day, but like, man, that was impressive out of herO. It might seem like it's easy to just apply a little bit of pressure to a Terran player, but a lot of what he did relied on timings. As Kane pointed out last game, like that attack started with 4 gates. If he had waited till he had 8 or the economy 4-8, like that may not have actually hit at a time where it was going to catch Bomber so drastically off guard. But I think one of the biggest weaknesses to that map, that I'm not sure this really hurt Bomber, I mean, he did have to spend 2 bunkers in the back, covering his back door. He didn't really know where the attack was going to come from at first, so definitely a little bit caught off guard. And that's why I think when you watch, like, TVP, here we go with the Reaper. Actually, I really like this one. This is exactly what I was going to allude to. Jokshi's always my favorite player to reference for this, because I don't think there's a single Terran player out there who does it better than him. You know, he's so good at hiding his first SCV to scout at the 5-minute mark, and then bringing the Reaper in for the 6-minute, 7-minute scout. And it's so critical you do this so that you know exactly what's coming, whether it's going to be a big blink build, or maybe they just go towards faster Colossus. Either way, the idea with this Reaper, maybe get a kill if you can, but more importantly, see what your opponent's doing.
Yeah, it's so important in StarCraft in general just to know, kind of be able to predict what your opponent will do within the next couple minutes. So I do like this Reaper move as well. The Reaper's going to intercept the Zealot here, or maybe vice versa, but of course the Reaper does have more micro potential, so the Zealot will die, so that's a nice little start for Bomber here.
Yeah, herO was going to send it the Zealot stock Mothership for this. I mean, this is a classic poke that comes all the way, like, minus the Mothership Core from like Wings of Liberty. You know, these two units would come early, and if you didn't have a bunker as a Terran player, if you went CC first, it was almost an auto lose sometimes. We actually see Bomber completely cancel the CC. Like, if anything, he'll probably rebuild this on the high ground. Yeah, there we go. Because he knows he doesn't want to have to deal with this. He doesn't have the units to stop all this damage. In fact, even with these Marines producing, he doesn't actually technically have enough to deal with the Mothership Core alone, much less any other unit. He's going to have to pull some SCVs.
Yeah, Bomber's already taking economic damage from this just by pulling those. So what looked like it was going to be a good start for Bomber, intercepting that cell, it kind of turned out to be a bad start.
The Marines Corps going to hop in that bunker as soon as they can here. The Reaper as well, because it's just low on health. With the SCV starting to fall back, this might look a little bit better. There we go, as he does defend the top of his ramp. This did get messy, though.
Yeah. 5 workers down and lost mining time, too.
Yeah. But keep in mind, for hero's sake, like, you know, there's still a Nexus coming up behind it. He's on 21 workers. Like, this wasn't really that big of a detriment. This delays his robo. It's probably the most, quote-unquote, hurt he receives from going out this early. So, definitely getting his money's worth out of this attack. These Marines, by the way, so low. They like, if they leave the bunker, they're screwed.
Hero's trying to pick off the low health SCVs. That's really cute, but doesn't look like he'll get any. Bomber's kind of predicting him to do that, so he's keeping his Marines near his mineral line just to be safe.
Man, these 1 health, not just like low, but like 1 health, 3 health. Like, these are completely within one-shot range. But while this is going on, the Reaper's going to try and move out. I don't actually know if he saw herO withdrawing with that hop there, but he will here in a moment. There we go. It's a bit of ease of mind. Yeah.
Things are looking pretty good for herO again, though, right? Like, that was a nice start for him, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a good way to get ahead in this game, in the early game, but as we know with StarCraft 2, it's very easy to throw a lead. So.
Yeah, very easy, yeah. And especially against somebody like Bomber, who is... I guarantee he's been in this situation before. He kind of knows what he has to do to get back in this game. Not that he's out of the game or anything like that, but to, I don't know, further his chances, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's definitely a scenario where, like, again, like, if Bomber can get to those 3 bases, that's where, like, my confidence for him to win a game just rises and soars significantly. But
and not only your confidence, his confidence too. He's so good in that scenario, man.
It really, like, it almost sounds like I'm joking, but realistically, I mean, you look at most of the times Bomber wins. Not only does he win, but, like, he makes it always look easy when he's in those sort of spots, no matter who he's playing against. I think a great example of this with, like, every TVT. Lose 8 medevacs? No problem, I'm Bomber.
Yeah. He doesn't care.
But okay, so we got a War Prism actually coming out here. Of course, this is going to work out really nicely because there's the robo follow-up to it. It's not like he's going for some weird gateway all in where he wants to warp into the main, but... If there's one thing in the world, in this matchup in particular, that's good at saying, Bomber, you're staying at home, it's a Warp Prism. Just the threat of this thing being around. 400 minerals invested into 4 Zealots is the best stay-at-home investment you could ever make. Because if Bomber never pushes, herO gets to get away with everything.
You know what he's going to do, though, right? Colossus drop.
I was gonna say, we're gonna go Puck Micro. Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah, we're gonna see some Colossus drops here, boys.
Actually, it's funny you bring that up. There's a match I cast not too long ago, Puck versus Bomber, where he actually did that. Polar Knight. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
So, he almost won too.
Bomber's seen this before, then, right?
Yeah. If this is actually, I think, you know what? I thought this was a joke, but I think that's actually what he's gonna do.
No, it's absolutely what he's gonna do. Yeah.
Oh, who was it?
Absolutely.
Was it Stardust? No, someone did this recently.
It was in a tournament as well. It was in the WCS finals.
Yeah.
I think it was Son, maybe.
Maybe.
I know he did it at least once.
Well, the thing is, the reason this becomes so effective, guys, the Warp Prism is so naturally fast, and on top of this, he's gone for the speed boost on it. So, I mean, this is like an extra fast moving Colossus, basically. Marines get shredded as we see, and if this gets here, he just picks up.
Oh,
unless he doesn't.
He lost a little bit of health, but that's okay.
He actually didn't get any workers with that, though, oddly enough, just mostly the Marines there, so...
But still, he got 9 Marines, or something like that, so it's still a nice pick-off, for sure.
That's a funny way to show some flair, too.
He's gonna get this, yeah. He's gonna get that Reaper.
Well, as he comes back towards the main, I mean, this is a little bit hectic for Bomber. His best-case scenario, obviously, catch the Warp Prism before the Colossus, but you know, with the amount of bio he has, this Colossus does have to be careful. This is not an extended thermal lens Colossus just yet.
Bomber's trying to drop the medevac boost and get the Marines underneath the Colossus, but hero's not going to let that happen. And Bomber is moving across the map right now with these 2 medevacs. But at home, herO has a couple sentries, a Colossus. It's going to be 2 Colossus probably. So I think he should be fine.
I don't know, there's some rare scenarios where, like, I've been seeing players like Major just drag and drop, and that spread with early game damage is good enough to kill a Colossus in the right scenario. But you're right, like, this is a lot for herO. Like, Bomber can't just blindly go in and hope for the best. Like, he has to control perfectly if he wants to take any sort of fight.
Yep, and we do have double upgrades for herO. Right now, I think we only have one upgrade going for Bomber. Yeah, but it is a little bit ahead, so he won't be that far behind.
Most of the sentry kills, can't say it's going to be the best case, but if he gets this Colossus, that's going to be really nice.
Oh, that is nice for, yeah, that's nice for Bomber right there, getting that one. Do you think that was worth it, though? He lost quite a few units.
It's really hard to say, because at the same time, like, does herO care? I mean, he's just the Colossus dropping back on the other side of the map. But the Vikings coming out will finally clean this up. Whether that was an effective trade, I'd say if he didn't get the sentry and the Colossus, then maybe it's, like, even at best. But picking off that sentry was, like, icing on the cake, right?
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
but
that makes
still,
sense.
losing a Colossus in the other game sucks. Because the problem is, like, usually you do come to fights with one Colossus shot. You know, 3 Colossus don't cut it, but 4 would have. You know, the Vikings are usually just barely enough damage before they get taken down. So we'll have to see what the actual next fight comes to be. Because it could be within the next 3 minutes, or it could be the next 10 minutes. It depends how passive each of these guys want to play. I mean, Bomber's moving towards another command center. herO has not yet thrown down an Nexus, but it looks like he wants to.
Yeah, he cancelled it. He was making one at the base above his main, but he did cancel it. I don't know what made him cancel it, though. He saw something that we didn't.
The fear of drops.
The fear of Bomber.
But all jokes aside, that very well may have actually been the case, because he doesn't really have enough units to defend against drops. I mean, you always hear casters talk about it, and the idea, like, behind this, guys, you have to split your units, as we see. Like, you're never going to have this one consolidated death ball on the defense, because Bomber's never going to just be A-moving you. He's going to be dropping from the left while he attacks up the right, and you have to make sure you're split perfectly, or else you'll lose one of those fights.
Yeah, Bomber, somebody like Bomber knows how to abuse positions on this map. He knows how to abuse those cliffs. So yeah, herO just wants to be safe, wants to make sure that he's well defended, and just kind of get out that army and then expand.
That Marine was booking it. He saw that Zealot and stimmed way the hell away. I do like that herO's still being active on the map, though. So while he is kind of, it appears to be turtling up, he's really just setting up all these counterattack potentials. I mean, the best case for herO to attack is not to fight this army head-on, but to draw it back, to wait for Bomber to leave the base and then warp into the mineral lines, and then send a couple of Zealots through that main. Whether that'll actually be the case or not, we'll have to see, because again, neither of these players, there's not a ton of vision. You know, Bomber's very blind coming into this game. He's making great predictions. herO doesn't have a lot of observers out. I mean, it's surprisingly... just there's no information for either player. You never see this.
This is looking scary for Bomber, though. herO has 4 Colossus. He has 2-2 done. He has charge done on those Zealots. This is looking really scary for Bomber. I would be creaming my pants right now if I were herO.
Okay, as weird as that got, the 2-2 is actually a great point. Armor upgrades are just phenomenal when you're fighting against Bio. You're going to have the Guardian Shield that reduces damages by 2. You're going to have the armor upgrades that'll make these Marines shoot like pea shooters. I mean, it's really the Vikings that are the biggest threat here. If the Colossus are removed, Bio can clean up that Stalker force pretty easily. But that's a pretty big if, because it's not as easy as just simply sending the units into fight. I'm surprised Bomber's getting so scared, though, of these Stalkers.
Yeah, I mean, herO's controlling really well as well. He's making sure not to lose anything and just picking off what he can before the engagement happens. That's really smart. Any small advantages in these battles can turn out to be a big advantage. It snowballs so fast sometimes.
Okay, well, Bomber sees this Warp Prism, so he's going to pounce on this as quickly as possible. This is something that could have gone quite poorly. It does draw the Vikings out of position, though, for this fight. However, with this chasm, they may be able to get around the Stalkers. Oh, it's going to be a very awkward engagement for Bomber, no matter how he decides to take this, because those Stalkers are going to do a great job of guarding the Colossus, but trying to pick these off, gets one, and I mean, it's still for nothing, that blink.
Yeah, and herO's not expanding either. This is, well, now he is, as soon as I say that, but this is like a pretty dedicated attack right now. Because Bomber's 3rd CC is already done, it's already planted there.
Yeah. I think this is definitely one of those things where, like, the best defense is a good offense. I mean,
look at Bomber's natural, though.
He's pulled,
Bomber's natural.
Well, he's under attack, but he's also pulled the SCVs into the fight, so he's going gung-ho on this. He wants to take a good battle. SCVs are stuck a little bit behind the infantry, though.
Mothership's stuck.
Oh, this battle. Hey, Okay, and everything's getting sniped off in the air right now. The Colossus are falling pretty quickly. The Stalkers are blinking forward to catch this, but the STVs, again, still stuck in the back. They're not soaking the hits. What? There's no point to pull these if they can't soak damage.
And the Colossus are still alive even after all the Vikings go down. So now hero's in a great position.
Bomber,
yeah. GG.
hero's going to take the series 2-0.
What happened there?
What happened there was like the SCV pull was cool but useless.
Yeah, like they were all trapped at the back, and then hero, like the Colossus didn't die fast enough, so they were still shooting at everything, and just that splash damage. And the 2-2 upgrades versus, I think Bomber had 1-1 with maybe 2-1 almost done, or maybe it was done, but either way, when Protoss is ahead on upgrades like that, it gets so scary.
Well, I think one of the other things too, like hero was doing a fantastic job of picking off like one Viking at a time and losing nothing for it. So I mean, Bomber came to that fight like down 4 Vikings before it even began. Those Vikings depleted way before the Colossus. The idea is like in a perfect scenario, they trade each other out. By the time you've shot that lost Colossus down, usually you're out of Vikings. We've only got 2 left in the air. Didn't even come close to being like that.
Yeah, hero's control